The Central Asian countries supported China, paid off their debts of $8.1 billion, and their oil and gas flowed directly to China. Let's take a closer look in this video. With the improvement of China's strength, its influence in the international community is also growing. Especially in the outbreak of the new crown epidemic, China has made great contributions during the fight against the epidemic. Even the World Health Organization has come forward to praise it, saying that China's effective control of the epidemic is worth learning from the world. Not only that, while China is developing, it has also extended a helping hand to some other countries to help them overcome their difficulties. Among them is a permanent neutral country. In order to express its gratitude to China, the country chose to pay off its debts with resources, and paid off all the debts of $8.1 billion it owed in one go, and began to send a large amount of natural gas to China. And this country also has a major natural gas cooperation with China, which will help promote the development of bilateral relations in a better direction. So which country is this? Why does it owe China such a huge debt? Why does it support China now? This country is Turkmenistan. As early as 1991, when the Soviet Union disintegrated, the former superpower that could rival the United States disintegrated into 15 countries, and their strength plummeted. Turkmenistan is one of the independent countries after the collapse of the Soviet Union. Turkmenistan is one of the 5 Central Asian countries at the same time, located in the north of Iran, with an area of about 491,200 square kilometers, and the capital is Ashgabat. It borders Afghanistan to the southeast, Uzbekistan to the northeast, Kazakhstan to the northwest, and the Caspian Sea to the west. And its geographical location is very embarrassing. It is on the Mediterranean seismic belt, and earthquakes often occur in the country. The climate in this region is very arid, with very little precipitation throughout the year, making it one of the driest regions in the world. This area has been very poor since the collapse of the Soviet Union, but this area is rich in oil. This starts from the Soviet era. During the 5 years from 1938 to 1942, under the leadership of Stalin, the Soviet Union started the third 5 years plan of the Soviet Union. During these 5 years, Soviet experts came to Turkmenistan for field exploration and discovered large amounts of oil in the territory of Turkmenistan. The place where a large amount of oil was discovered is in the Caspian Sea oil field near Turkmenistan. Some friends may be curious, isn't the Caspian Sea a sea? Why is there oil? In fact, although the Caspian Sea is named after the sea, in geography, the Caspian Sea is an inland lake separated from the Mediterranean Sea due to address changes. And it is precisely because of the vicissitudes of the Mediterranean Sea in history that such a blessed land of oil has been formed. So how terrible is the crude oil production in the Caspian Sea? At its peak, the output of the Caspian Sea oil field reached 11 million tons, accounting for about 50% of the world's total crude oil at that time. Therefore, before a large amount of oil was discovered in the Middle East, Turkmenistan was the world's main oil supplier at that time. On December 12, 1995, Turkmenistan was recognized by the United Nations as a permanent neutral country. Therefore, Turkmenistan's situation is much better than that of neighboring countries. There are basically no wars, and its oil production is very large, which makes many countries very jealous. It stands to reason that a country with such a high oil production should not be poor, and they have not yet been disturbed by war. But Turkmenistan's geographical location is too embarrassing. It is a standard landlocked country in Central Asia. Before the disintegration of the Soviet Union, the oil extracted by Turkmenistan could be traded through the Soviet Union. However, after the disintegration of the Soviet Union in 1991, although Russia was still relatively strong, they also needed to develop after they had just experienced disintegration and could not take Turkmenistan into account. Without the support of the Soviet Union, their rate of oil extraction slowed down, and the extracted oil could not be traded by sea. Because the largest customer, the Soviet Union, has disintegrated, if the trade is carried out through other countries, the transportation costs that need to be borne are too high, so that the final profit can be very little. Although Turkmenistan's oil production is large, it is limited after all. Now a large number of mining exports, but not much profit. In the long run, this is very detrimental to the development of Turkmenistan. Therefore, Turkmenistan fell into a very embarrassing situation. In fact, as early as 2,000 years ago, China had trade relations with Turkmenistan. Silk and tea from China were once transported to Merv, a city in Turkmenistan, through the Silk Road. Because of these friendly diplomatic experiences and China's image as a fair and just major country, China did not hesitate to provide $8.1 billion in loans for the construction of natural gas and other infrastructure in Turkmenistan when Turkmenistan asked for help. In addition to providing economic support, China has provided Turkmenistan with a large number of oil exploration talents. At the same time, China has no reservations about drilling technology and oil refining technology. It not only helped them alleviate the economic difficulties at that time, but also promoted the oil development of Turkmenistan. But just mining cannot be transformed into the real economy. In July 2007, China and Turkmenistan signed a 30-year cooperation agreement. The Chinese side is responsible for helping it build a natural gas pipeline so that the natural gas resources collected by Turkmenistan can be exported to China. With the deepening of mutual understanding, trade between China and Turkmenistan has become more frequent, not just limited to energy transactions. Among them, agricultural equipment, optical equipment and other scientific and technological products are also continuously transported from China to Turkmenistan, which greatly promotes the agricultural production of Turkmenistan people. With China's support, the two countries are mutually beneficial and win-win. Turkmenistan, a small and impoverished country in the past, has also stepped into the track of rapid development. By 2021, the President of Turkmenistan will announce that all Chinese loans have been repaid. The person in charge of the China Development Bank also said that all the debts owed by Turkmenistan have been paid off. From Turkmenistan's declaration of independence to June 1, 2021, Turkmenistan's GDP has increased by 7.4 times. Even under the adverse impact of the new crown epidemic in 2020, Turkmenistan's GDP still grew by 5.9%. Since China is Turkmenistan's largest exporter under China's mutually beneficial and win-win policy, oil and gas have become a major pillar of Turkmenistan's economic income. For China's help, Turkmenistan has always chosen to repay China by supporting China. At a time when China is pouring aid into other countries, Western countries, led by the United States, have trumpeted that China's lending to other countries is an attempt to commit economic aggression against others. Turkmenistan responded favorably, saying the loan owed to China had been paid. China's cooperation with other countries is win-win, not the loan trap smeared by the West. And Turkmenistan's domestic economy has indeed taken off with Chinese aid. Other Western countries, led by the United States, often attach some political conditions to construction projects, which is different from China's assistance to other countries. In other Western countries headed by the United States, some political conditions are often attached to the aid projects, which is different from China's aid to other countries. There is a fundamental difference. In this regard, Turkmenistan also expressed its friendship to China. On the evening of July 14, 2021, the UN Human Rights Council was held in Geneva, Switzerland. Turkmenistan government officials publicly supported China at the 47th session of the United Nations Council, saying that Turkmenistan will always support the One China position and oppose other countries' interference in China's internal affairs. Turkmenistan's support for China is also manifested in another aspect. Because Turkmenistan itself is a landlocked country, there is no sea without a navy, so the development of the Air Force has become a top priority for Turkmenistan. In order to defend the country, Turkmenistan needs to purchase some advanced and high-end weapons. The United States and Russia expressed their intention to sell high-end weapons to Turkmenistan at the same time. However, Turkmenistan chose to buy high-end advanced weapons from China, which means that China has great trust. At the same time, it also launched a favorable counterattack against Western countries that discredited China. With the help of China, Turkmenistan's military air defense has been fully deployed. In fact, the reason why Turkmenistan chooses Chinese manufacturing is nothing more than that China never interferes in the internal affairs of other countries, and never wins over other countries to deal with any country. This may be the main reason why Turkmenistan chooses to cooperate with China. China not only provides loans to Turkmenistan to support domestic infrastructure construction, but also provided Turkmenistan with a large amount of new crown vaccines on March 6, 2021. China's stance of mutual assistance and win-win peaceful development is bound to usher in more like-minded partners. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more great content. See you next time.